Hello. Welcome to episode 77 of Down the Rabbit Hole. Here we talk about urban legends, history, royal curses, anything involving history, anything involving paranormal activity. I'm down to talk about it. With that being said, if you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. So please subscribe, help your girl out. But today we're going to be talking about Nepalese family royal curse, followed by an event that happened in 2001 that would bring this to a sudden end. Okay, so we all know that there's a Nepalese royal family curse that seems to be a bit unfair. Now, according to the New York Times, Nepal became a sovereign nation in the 1700s. It was ruled by Pranata Narayan Shah. One day, the king offered him a hermit a bowl of curd, and it was must have been pretty shocking when the hermit drank the curd, then vomited back up right in front of the king. Now the king moved to avoid it, and the family was cursed. See, the hermit was really the god Gornat, and he was offended by the king's dodged dispute. Now, the curse said that Nepal's monarchy would last 10 generations before coming to a sudden end. Unfortunately, the curse came true in the most horrific way possible. On June 1st, 2001, the then king of Nepal, Birendra Birkin Shadev, and most of the family were together in the palace. And for reasons that is still not clear, the prince and the king's son and the heir entered the room, loaded their weapons, and opened fire. He killed 9 people, including his father, mom, brother, and sister. Now, the prince then tried to kill himself but ended up in a coma. He lingered for 2 days, and during which, because of how monarchies work, he was officially Nepal's king. And it's known that he might have been upset about getting to marry the woman he wanted to, not getting married a woman he wanted to. Although, according to his friends, the crown prince was always sadistic and unhappy. The prince would pass away, would the crown would pass to his brother before Nepal ended its monarchy in 2008, and it lasted 10 generations. So, I want to talk briefly about something that I brought up, and that was the Nepalese royal family massacre. And this would occur June 1st, 2001, at the Narayanti Palace. I do apologize if I'm butchering names up. I am terrible with names, so please forgive me. But this is when 9 royal family members, including king and queen, were killed in a mass shooting in the gathering of the royal family in the palace. A government-appointed inquiry team, um, and the crown prince and the perpetrator of the massacre, and the prince was slipped into a coma for shooting himself after shooting himself in the head. So he was declared king while comatose after murdering his dad and brothers, and he died in the hospital 3 days later in the massacre without regaining consciousness. Now his brother would then become king. So let's talk about the events leading up to this, shall we? Now, according to many eyewitnesses, an official investigation was carried out and by a two-man committee made up of the chief justice and the speaker of the House of Representatives and everything. So, what about the motives behind this? Well, his motive for the murder is still unknown. And there are various theories saying that he wanted to marry this woman, whom he met in the UK. And some allege that due to the families being from lower class royals of India and the families and the father's political alliances, the royal family ejected. Now, in fact, it was the Vaniquadas family that were one of the wealthiest former royal families in India and allegedly far wealthier than the Nepalese monarchs. Now, a prospective bride's monarch warned her daughter that marrying the Nepalese crown prince might mean a drop to her standard of living. And the princess' prospective bride, chosen by the royal family, was from the main branch of the Nepalese Reina dynasty, the Shamshir line. So, but there's another theory that there with a highly possibility of Indian influence that if the prince were to marry this woman, um, into which the palace rejected. Other theories allege that the prince was so unhappy with the country's shift from the absolute to constitutional monarchy, that it was that the too much power would be given away and everything. Now, there have been many controversies to the circumstances of the massacre. Even after the abolition of the monarchy from the 2006, following 2006 revolution, many questions remain unanswered. Now, questions that remain unsolved include the apparent lack of security at the event, the absence of the Prince Gyendra, and the prince's uncle who succeeded him. Now, the prince's self-inflicted injury wounds were located at the left temple, although in his right hand. It was duration of the discreet investigation, which lasted for 2 weeks, did not involve any major forensics analysis, despite an offer by Scotland Yard to carry out. So, who all was killed in this? Well, there was the king, there was the queen, there was the crown prince, who was later king. There was another prince who was his younger son. There was the princess, who was the king's daughter, and everything. And there were people wounded in this too, as well. Now, what about the aftermath? So, the following day, the members of the royal family were given a funeral and were cremated in front of the Bastrum Temple, and the prince was a proclaimed king while comatose. Died June 4th, 2001. Now, Geandras was appointed to the regent for 3 days and then ascended to the throne himself after the death of his brother. Now, while he was unconscious, he maintained that the death was the result of an accidental discharge of an automatic weapon within the royal family. And later, he said that he made this claim due to a legal and constitutional hurdle, since, under the Constitution and by tradition, um, Dependra, I know I'm probably butchering that up, and again, I do apologize, could not have been charged with murder had he survived, and a full investigation took place in which he was found responsible for the killing. And a two-man committee comprising of the Chief Justice and the Speaker of the House carried a week-long investigation concerning the massacre. Now, the investigation would conclude after interviewing hundreds of people, including eyewitnesses, at the shooting, that he was the perpetrator of the shooting. Now, however, observers inside both Nepal and abroad disputed that the culpability of the incident and everything. Now, the massacre added to the political turmoil and the moist insurgency following the ascension of Gyanendra, and the monarchy lost much approval from the Nepalese populace. Some say the massacre was a pivotal point and ended the monarchy in Nepal. So there have also been many conspiracy theories about this as well, and everything. But the king and his son were very popular and well respected. And on the massacre, Gyanendra was in Pokhara, while other royals attended the dinner function. His wife Kamal and their sons Paras and their daughter Parina was in the room at the royal palace during the massacre and everything. But like I said, there's been many conspiracy theories about things and everything, but that is it for this episode. I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day.